Welcome back everyone to another video. My name is Nathan. I am a 24-year-old runner currently training for the Eugene Half Marathon for a sub 130 attempt, which is in just under 11 weeks time. So not too far out, but still far out enough where I can make progress. Today is February 10th. It's a Tuesday, which is usually our tempo run day. So I'm going to be taking you guys through that, as well as kind of discuss why, I guess the topic for today's video is why I don't rely on motivation for running anymore, but rather routine. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about that during my tea talk today. But before that, of course, as always, we got to get the nutrition in the system before I run. So let's go do that. All right, so just put the tea on. And of course, you guys already know I'm loving the Guatemala mug right now. My new fave. And the sweet and spicy tea to go with it. And just to have a little fun, we'll go with the stick of Element this morning. Call me crazy. And since I gotta get my ass out the door quickly today, we got dates. We've only got 7 left. I definitely need to make a trip to Costco sometime soon. All right, third and final. This one is absolutely piping hot. Whoa. All right, everyone, welcome back to another session of Tea Talk. Tea test to start. It's tea, baby. All right, before I get into today's topic, first order of business, the Super Bowl. I am a Seattleite. I've been a Washingtonian my entire life. Damn, that was such a satisfying watch. I will admit, the first half was extremely boring, but the Seattle Seahawks defense, our entire team, our coach, offense, defense, special teams, we absolutely ran through the Patriots, and we raised our second Lombardi trophy. So congrats to the Seahawks. Congrats to the city of Seattle, baby. People were out late celebrating, throwing shit around, blasting fireworks, doing donuts in intersections all throughout the city. And I think the parade is tomorrow, which I might be able to go to. But yes, I'm very, very happy and pleased with that game yesterday because it has been a long, devastating road ever since that loss to the Patriots in the Super Bowl in 2015 when we lost the ball on the 1-yard line. If any of you have watched that, you'll know how horrible that moment was for us Seahawks fans. So yeah, for today's topic, I kind of wanted to get into this idea of using and relying on motivation for running and why I don't use motivation anymore, but I use systems and routines in order to accomplish and get through all of my workouts. A lot of the time I used to rely on watching content in order to give me motivation to work out or to run. I used a lot of content from like fitness creators like myself, I guess, just to get inspired to run. The problem was I relied on that. Of course, today I still watch those videos from, my favorite runners or fitness influencers to get knowledge or entertainment. That is totally still in my routine and something I do to this day. But relying on it for motivation and inspiration is something that I've kind of, strayed away from. And in terms of running, I always found it hard to get motivated to run. I've been pretty much working out pretty consistently the last 10 years or so. That has never been a problem for me. I never needed motivation to do that. And the reason why is because I fit it into my daily routine, whereas running was something that didn't really have a place in my life. I never had enjoyed it at any point in my life. I would go on runs sporadically, so it wasn't part of my routine. It wasn't something that was automatic. And also, I didn't have a big, I call it like a why for working out at the gym. I used to be obese when I was younger, like in the 8th grade. So my why was always to get into better shape, to feel good physically, mentally, look better, gain confidence, all of those things. So I had a really strong why as to why I wanted to start going to the gym and how I've kept going to the gym the last 10 years. And then running, I never really had a strong why. So finding that why was really important for me. And it doesn't have to be anything too deep. For me, it was literally just setting a time goal and sticking to a plan and being consistent and really pushing my body to see where it can go. So yeah, if we're talking about what changed from running turning into, needing motivation and turning into a part of my routine where it's automatic, for me at least, it was setting the goal, setting the why. That sub 145 half marathon goal I set last April kind of gave me a little bit of purpose, and it honestly gave me a lot of intrinsic motivation where I didn't have to rely on videos or other people telling me to go out. And over time, of course, the first few months were not the most fun, and I definitely had to be motivated a little bit more by videos, and it really wasn't easy getting out the door some days. I remember not wanting to go on a lot of the runs. Running at the start, if you're a beginner runner, of course, it's just harder because you aren't as good of a runner, you aren't as fast, your body's not used to it, you don't really understand the benefits of it, and it's really a sport, I guess almost like any sport, but the better you get at it, the more you do of it, the more enjoyable usually it gets over time. And that's definitely something that happened with running. I started to enjoy it a lot over time, and it started to then fit into my routine. So yeah, over time, building out through that spring and summer, I started then getting into about 5 days a week of running, which sounds extremely painful to me just a year ago, but now it's literally automatic for me. If you think of some sort of sport or something you want to do and you rely on motivation, it feels like a chore. But if you fit it into your routine, it becomes automatic where you don't even have to think about it. It happens, you do it, you get it done, and then you move on with your day. And after having ran for the last, about just over 9 months, I now really enjoy running, which is something I don't know if I would ever have thought I would have said. It brings me a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of gratitude. I'm able to do it solo. I'm able to do it with other people. It's a fantastic workout. I feel really, really good after. Of course, there are days where I'm like, bro, I just want to sleep. I just want to watch TV. I don't want to do this at all. But I get out, and that doesn't happen as often as it used to, which is a really good sign. And when I talk about the idea of motivation versus routine, motivation tends to feel like a chore, whereas routines are slow and steady efforts and progress over time. Of course, motivation might seem more exciting and inspiring in the moment, but it's not sustainable. It doesn't last. Whereas a routine can be mundane, it can be boring, but over time, it builds, it compounds, and you learn and grow slowly but surely over time. And that compounding of, say, getting 1% better every day, every week, versus motivation, where you have some really, really big, incredible workouts sporadically, like 2 or 3 times a month, you're going to get so much farther in the long run by being small, steady steps every single day, having a routine, fitting it in where you don't have to think about it, over having some crazy run-of-the-mill sporadic workouts that rely solely on motivation. And when I think about making decisions on a day-to-day basis, I want to make the least amount of decisions as possible. Decision fatigue is really real. So making running a decision where you don't have to think about it, where it's in your routine, makes it so much easier to finish, complete, figure out. And that deals with any sort of thing throughout the day, that deals with working out, that deals with reading, work, homework, cooking food, anything like that. There's this book, I want to say it's called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. It's like a psychology, sciencey book, but he basically describes that there's kind of two systems in the brain. One that deals with very like active decision making, where you have to put energy into making the decision, versus the other type of decision making, which is usually the decisions that are in your routine, where there's thousands of them throughout the day where you don't even have to think about them. Think of something like brushing your teeth, where you don't even think about it. You know it's going to happen. You go through all the motions, you get it done every single day, twice a day, hopefully. But that's something where it's just in your routine. It's already ingrained into your head. You don't have to think about it. You get it done. So making something like running into that routine type, I don't know if it's type 1 or type 2 decision, but the automatic routine where you don't have to think about it. You get it done. It's so much less fatiguing on your body, not physically, but well, not even physically, but mentally as well. And not even with all this decision making, but I feel like I'm in a better place emotionally with my running as well. It just takes so much less stress and effort on a day-to-day, knowing it's just part of my routine, where I don't have to rely on extrinsic motivation to complete a workout. Yes, I will say there are, few maybe highs and lows because it is in my routine, but it's so much steadier, and that baseline has been raised so much more to where I'm enjoying most of my runs on a consistent basis. Whereas before it was like I had a bunch of really crappy runs and a few really, really good runs. But now that level is kind of here where almost all of my runs are, pretty decent or somewhat enjoyable. And now I feel like I'm at this point where, yes, of course, I'm still chasing my time goal, that sub 130 attempt at Eugene in April, but I don't know. I feel like I don't have this pressure to achieve it if I don't hit it. Like I don't know. It's something where if I don't hit it, I think I'm okay with that. I put the time in, I put the effort in, the consistency's there, the recovery's there, all these factors and attributes that are being put in to achieve this goal are all there. And if I don't hit it, that's totally okay with me, because I know I'm putting in all the effort, and I don't want to make it something that completely takes over my life. I want to be able to have the time and freedom and flexibility to do other things, enjoy hanging out with friends, enjoy eating really good food, enjoy having a drink every now and then, just like at the Super Bowl this weekend. So, it's been fit into my routine to a point where that's kind of just second nature to me. I finish it, I get it done. And honestly, the bonus is the time goal that I'm able to hit. But I think just the journey and getting through it all in the moment now is what I probably enjoy the most. And over time, my perspective has shifted quite a bit. I feel now like I'm very grateful rather than obligated to run. I kind of have a sense that I get to run. I have the opportunity to do this. My cousin actually a few weeks ago got in a really serious car accident from a drunk driver, and she is likely going to have both of her legs amputated. So just, that kind of knowing that someone who's literally 2 years younger than me, could have been any one of my friends, could have been anyone I know, losing, two of their legs to something so catastrophic, and we're out here complaining that we can't run, or I don't even know what to say about that. But I feel like I have this sense of, opportunity. I have a working body. I have a working heart. I'm young. I'm youthful. I get to run, it's not, I don't get to make major excuses. Of course, if you don't want to, if you hate running, you don't have to run at all. That's totally okay. You can do something else you totally enjoy. But while I'm at this young age, while my body's working properly, while my knees are still intact. My knees hurt a lot of the time. Maybe I am getting too old, but I do have a working, functioning body, and I'm so grateful for that. And I kind of take that into a lot of my runs sometimes, where if I'm losing a little bit of motivation, I remind myself that, you know, this is something that not everybody gets the opportunity or the privilege to do. So that's another perspective I kind of take on running. So that's all to say, you can't really rely on motivation to become a better runner. You need systems, you need routines in your day-to-day life that make these decisions automatic and feel so much easier to make. And the best runners are truly the most consistent runners. They don't always feel like it. I don't always feel like it. Some days I don't want to get out, but I know it's the best for me. I know it's kind of just second nature for me now, where it's a lot easier to do it. It's always the hardest at the start, so you just gotta, you know, get into it, make it part of your routine, and you'll start seeing progress each and every day, and it'll become easier each and every day. So I challenge you to start turning running into a part of your routine, if that is something you enjoy doing, whatever else it could be, putting it into a part of your routine where you're doing it most days at maybe the same time, have the same prep before, during, and after. And yeah, it'll just become second nature to you. It'll become a lot easier. You will most likely start to enjoy it more over time. It's just one of those things that, you know, needs a little bit of time to ramp up, and then it hits an exponential curve and you can't stop. I might even be addicted to it. We'll see. But yeah, that's my my tea talk for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll meet you at the trailhead. All right, folks, we have made it to the trailhead. What a gorgeous day. The sun is out. It is freezing. It's like 40 degrees, which is cold for Seattle, if you don't know. But yes, today we have our tempo run workout. I will put the workout on the screen somewhere, but it's a 2-mile warm-up followed by just an easy 3-mile. Well, it's not easy, but the workout itself and structure is easy. A 3-mile tempo run at 7 minutes per mile roughly, and then a 150-second rest after that, and then a 2-mile cool down. So the tempo runs, the interval runs are definitely starting to get a little bit longer. I'm usually used to maxing out at about 5 or 6 miles for these speedier workouts, but now they are starting to creep into the 7 and 8 mile range, which is a little scary, but hey, that's what it takes to get faster. So that is what we are rocking with today. And what we're rocking with on the body, we got the Adidas Adizero Evo SLs on feet. It's dry out here, so gotta smack on the white colorway, of course. We've got our Lululemon Fast and Free half tights in the gray colorway, absolutely sexy. And then on body, we've just got this black Lululemon long sleeve shirt. I'll be putting on some gloves as well, and then Arc'teryx beanie, of course. But that is the fit today, so let's warm up and get cracking. I have made it out on the run. Currently working through the 2-mile warm-up right now, and I totally forgot to charge my watch. I do still have it on me, but it's only at 9%, so we'll see how it holds up. Hopefully it can last, but man, this weather is gorgeous out here. This one will be fun. And we're off.
That's mile 1. That's mile 2. And that is mile 3 done. Now time for the 2.5 minute rest. That was pretty hard, but not as hard as last week. The 2x2 miles. Crazy how a mile less is easier. But no, yeah, that felt pretty solid. Legs a little sore from my workout yesterday, but again, can't complain about this beautiful weather. So, gonna cool down. 2 more miles to go, and then we gotta get to work. Woo! We did it, people. That is 7.06 miles in 1 hour, 36 seconds, 8:35 average pace. That felt pretty good. It was hard, but it was a good hard. Pause. But yeah, I feel like I still had a little bit in the tank there. I really wanted to take my shirt off because the weather was so nice, but it was still pretty chilly out, so kept it on. But the vibes were immaculate. I was bopping some AJR. All the other runners were out enjoying this beautiful Tuesday morning here in Seattle. But yeah, training's going well. I feel pretty confident about hitting sub 130. I mean, right now, I could probably still do it for, 6 or 7 miles maximum right now. So I still need to give myself time, but I do have almost 11 weeks left of training. So I think as long as I stick to the plan, I will be solid. And speaking of plans, I'm using Runna, which is an AI running coach. I personally have been using it since November. I really enjoy it. It kind of adds into this idea of routine, but it basically plans out your entire running prep and schedule each and every week. You can move dates around, you can add in vacations, you can add in B races, all of this stuff, and it automatically updates, switches, all that good stuff right on the dot when you want to. And yeah, it makes my routine so much easier. I can just look at my phone, look at the schedule. This is what I got to do today. This is how far I got to run, how much effort I got to give, all the paces, all that good stuff, and I don't really think twice about it. It makes my week a lot easier, less stressful. So if you guys want to try out Runna, 2 weeks free, down in my description below. I really like it. I wouldn't promote it if I didn't. So you guys are, welcome to try that out. But yeah, my feet are in severe pain squatting right now, so I'm gonna get out of here. But I appreciate you guys for watching this video, sticking around. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you took something away from it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, I'll see you next week.